Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is another stitch with me. I was debating whether to do diamond painting or stitching, and I feel like sitting and stitching today because I did not do any crafting Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Friday night, Saturday or Sunday. And that usually happens because I normally will spend my weekends, with Bill. And we go to bed so late usually on Friday and Saturday that it's too late for me to come up here and do any stitching. So today is November 1st. So happy November. We have Thanksgiving in this month. And one of my favorite Charlie Brown cartoonists, the Thanksgiving one. So the week of Thanksgiving, I think I'm going to have off of work because first of all, we'd only be working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday anyway. But because we have the arbitration the 2 full weeks beforehand, I'm pretty sure she'll probably just take off the whole week. Oh, that's tasty. Okay, so let's recap the weekend and then I'll talk about the coffee I'm drinking. So Friday, if you watched my stitch with me, I went to the foot doctor. That day was a day, let me tell you, because our internet kept going in and out. We had a nor'easter and Bill was home by about 10:45. So I had, we went to lunch at a family restaurant in our area and it wasn't that good. Well, I got chicken quesadilla, which was actually decent. He didn't care for his. He got a cheesesteak sub and it was very greasy. So we came home and then that's when I recorded. I had some computer stuff to do for work and then I recorded the video and I got the video up really late on Friday, much later than I normally do. So we did that, and then for dinner, what the hell did we do for dinner? It's like hard to remember back 3 days ago. I feel like we ate at home. We did. Was that the day we had hot dogs? I can't remember. I want to say that's the day we had hot dogs. Nathan's hot dogs, which Bill loves. Not me. They're too salty. So we watched TV, went to bed. Oh yeah, that's right. I was up till like 2 in the morning. And the next day we were up early at like 7:30. So I was kind of tired on Saturday. So Saturday's plan, we didn't really have anything planned. We were sitting there and watching TV and I had a massage. God, I'm trying to, I had a massage at 9 o'clock. So I went to that, which was very good. And I have a massage scheduled every week in November because of the arbitration having it so much. So I look forward to that every Saturday this month. And I came home from that and Bill wanted to go to Costco. So apparently Bill's daughter made him feel bad about the fact that we were not going to give out Halloween candy. So he's like, I want to give out candy now, so we have to go get it. I was like, well, she's welcome to come over and give it out. I've given out candy for 25 years. I think I have the right to say I don't want to give it out. Right? And I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think I'm completely alone in that. So I didn't know if she was actually going to come over here and sit outside with him because the way that our house is set up and we get so many people, it's easier to just sit outside in our driveway and give out the candy than be in the house and constantly have to get up and go up the steps. So in my head, I'm thinking, well, if she comes over, she can sit outside with him. I'll sit in the house, read my book, have a glass of wine, right? So we go to Costco on Saturday and we actually found some Christmas gifts, which spurred me to like get on the ball and start Christmas shopping because I was just dreading it. I'm like, can I at least get through bucking Halloween before I have to do Christmas shopping? So I made a list when we came home of who I need to buy for because Bill only needs to buy for me and his daughter. I buy for my family, my dad's side, my side. Yeah, I have people to buy for, like 14 people. But we found 3 Christmas gifts at Costco. So I was able to cross those off my list. And we did get candy. Costco has like bulk candy. So we bought a bag of chocolate and then a bag of like Jolly Ranchers and sour licorice and stuff like that. $32 in candy. And so we come home, we unloaded all of that. And he wanted to go, there's this store in our area called Fishbones, which is, he'll get fishing bait there and things like that, but they have a new hunting section. So he wanted to go look, and we weren't doing anything anyway. So I said, okay, I'll come with you. And I said, do you mind if we stop at Starbucks so I can get a coffee? And we stopped on the way there is Safeway, and Safeway in our area has a Starbucks inside of it. Actually, a Starbucks is being built, like an actual Starbucks with a drive-through across the street. And I am betting that he is going to that it's going to be very, very popular. When it's built. So that one might even close inside the store. I don't know if they're going to do that. So I walk inside and there's a huge giant fucking line, and I'm like, and the way it's set up in the store, there's like nowhere to stand if it's more than like 3 people. So we were like all in the aisle, and it was only these two poor people working behind there. And I'm like, they need more people behind there. And I usually get a cafe mocha. And I was going to get a pumpkin spice latte because I do like those. And they have like this apple crisp something. I almost got that, but I'm like, what if I hate it? So I decided to get a cappuccino. Well, I forget that a cappuccino, like at a place like that, it's very, it's not sweet unless you ask for sugar. Like it is literally coffee and milk. So I drank it though. I got a small one. It was only like $3, I want to say. I actually liked it. It's more like the coffee I drink at home, because at home I will put half and half, or I will put like 1 tablespoon of coffee creamer. So mine is not very sweet. I don't add extra sugar to it. You know what I mean? So we had that. We went to Fishbones, walked around in there. I had never been in there. So Bill bought a pair of fingerless gloves, I think. And he was talking to the guy at the counter. So we left there and he's like, is there anywhere else you want to go? And I'm like, not really. I really couldn't think of anything, any place, So we came home. What did we do when we came home? I want to say we just watched TV, because by the time we got home, it was like 4 o'clock. We watched some TV, and then, I just remembered, Friday night, we watched a movie that my mom and my stepdaughter recommended called Don't Breathe, where these kids break into this blind guy's house to try to rob him. It was good. We liked it. And there was a part two that just came out. So Bill was like, we'll watch part 2 on Saturday night. And for him to suggest a movie, I'm all for it, because he normally is not a movie person. And the past couple movies we've watched have sucked. So, yeah, Saturday we had... Oh no, I know what we had for dinner Friday. I now remember. We had spaghetti. And we had frozen these sausage meatballs, and we used that instead of ground beef, and I couldn't eat them. They were too salty. I'm very sensitive to salt. Bill loved it. He took the leftovers for lunch today. That saved me from packing a sandwich this morning. Yeah. And then Saturday, we had street tacos. We bought, Costco has some really good, like, prepared dinners that all you gotta do is heat up or whatever. And we had street tacos, which was very good. And then we stayed up, watched the movie, went to bed, and Sunday, we usually get up on Sunday. I usually have groceries delivered, but I had a Zoom meeting with my team and my boss at 11 o'clock my time. So I scheduled the groceries to come from 1 to 3, thinking that I would be done, the Zoom meeting. So we get up, I have coffee, I'm playing Candy Crush on my iPad, checking email, all that kind of stuff. And Bill talked to his daughter and he was like, well, if you want to, you can come over, give out candy. And so it was kind of open-ended. And when he was talking to her, I got dressed, got ready, so I wouldn't have to fool with that. Put laundry in and all of that. And we got the candy bowls down. When my grandparents passed and we cleaned out their house, they had these really big, like silver aluminum bowls, like that my grandmother used to make, cake mix in and stuff like that. And they were like nesting bowls. So we took those and we had put all the candy in there and it filled up the whole biggest bowl. I couldn't believe it. Bill was like, well, let's get out a smaller bowl. So we put some candy in that to take out. And then Bill decided to go fishing down the end of our street. He really enjoys it. He takes his camping chair, he takes a fishing rod, walks down to the end of our street, which is, I don't know, 5-minute walk. And there's a beach down the end of the street and nobody's usually there. So he can very easily just sit there and fish, and he loves it. And he wanted to be out of the house when I had the Zoom meeting, right? So by the time I got my computer set up, tested my audio for Zoom and all of that, I had about 25 minutes before the meeting was to start. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on Amazon and I'm going to try to do some more Christmas shopping. I am done Christmas shopping, except for Bill. I only have like 2 or 3 things bought for him, and he hasn't given me, we try really not to give each other a list because I don't want to know every single thing I'm getting. I added a shit ton to my Amazon list because I told him I added so much stuff that I know you can't buy it all. So this way, right? He says, well, I already have 6 things that I'm going to get you that you didn't tell me. Okay, cool. Oh, one thing that we did on Saturday also was there's an antique store in our area. That's what we did on the way back from Fishbones. We stopped at this antique store just to look around. I saw this table and it was like $95, $90. I loved it. It would have been a really cool table to have like next to my stitching area on my chair. And I told Bill, I'm like, this would be a good Christmas idea. So I don't know if he's going to go back and get it. It was so cool. It was nice. They have a lot and I was also in there looking for Christmas gifts. I almost bought my brother because I like to get him like quirky gifts because he's kind of quirky and stuff. So I almost got him this 1857 dictionary. Bill's like, would he like that? I'm like, he likes stuff like that, but I didn't get it. So yeah, I came home before the Zoom meeting and I went through Amazon because I have the Amazon credit card. So if you buy stuff, you get reward points. Okay. Also on Friday, and I'm sorry I'm all over the place. Also on Friday, I ordered a pair of Brooks tennis shoes. They're like purple and navy and hot pink. They were $85, $90. It came to like $100 with tax and all that. I ordered those, so they're coming. And then I went on Ortho Feet, and I actually found like a pair of slip-on shoes that are, have support and all of that I can wear in the house when I'm working. And then one of my subscribers sent me a link to some knockoff Crocs on Amazon. So they're only like $26. So I'm going to get those too. So I hope that the shoes fit and I like them. And that way, Bill had bought me a pair of pretty good like slip-on boots for winter from Costco. They're very comfy. And yeah, so my feet have actually been feeling pretty good the last couple days. So yeah, someone said do not get bunion surgery until you're in unbearable pain. And yeah, I'm not going to be getting surgery until I can't walk, or not until I can't walk, but until I really am in a lot of pain for a long period of time. So I'm just trying to have a good attitude about all of that. But yeah, hoping the shoes will help, right? So I sat here and I found stuff on Amazon for the rest of my list. So I have it all in my cart, and I only have, it totals like $456, which actually is not bad for buying for like 14 people. And the limit on my Amazon cart is only $500. And I had charged the dress I'm wearing to that wedding we're going to in October and this month. And so there was like a $65 balance on the card. So I paid that off today because I'm going to charge my entire cart when that's paid on my Amazon cart so I can get the rewards points for it. So hopefully that will be like tomorrow. But yeah, on Saturday, or no, it was Friday. Friday, the dress came for the wedding. So if you remember, I had ordered a black dress with like a red belt. And I thought the red was like bright red. I ordered bright red, like, the shoes have a thick heel on them that I ordered. And I got pantyhose, and I ordered like a red clutch purse. And I got Bill a red tie so we can kind of coordinate. Well, when the first dress came, first of all, it looked kind of cheaply made. And the belt was like burgundy. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I returned that dress. Went looking. Spent like an hour looking for dresses. And I came upon this one that is black. And it goes down to just below your knee. And it's like 3/4 length sleeves. And the trim on the sleeves is red, and the trim on the collar is red. And it even comes with like this black leather belt. And the collar is like asymmetrical. Like it looks like it's cut out. It was like $47 for the dress. So I read the reviews. People looked great in it. It got really good reviews. I said, all right. And you can only get like small, medium, large. I got a large just because I was afraid a medium would be very, very tight. So the dress came Friday, and it fucking fits. I can't believe it. Bill's like, oh, I really like that. I went, thank God. Thank God. It will suffice for this wedding. So that's done at least. And yeah, Saturday, so Sunday. So yeah, so Bill went down the end of the street to go fishing. The Zoom meeting started at 11, and the team Zoom was an hour and a half, but then my boss wanted me to stay on for a couple more minutes, and it wound up being almost an extra half an hour because she wanted to show me something that she had done that will make my job a little bit easier in one aspect for the arbitration. So we had currently been, or me, I had been calculating the time on the record. Like when an attorney examines a witness, I was calculating the stop and start time. Well, that was tedious because there are many witnesses in the course of a day normally, and 5 or 6 parties can be questioning one witness. So I had to keep all of that separate. And twice now we've received emails from people in the case saying the times can't be right, someone's doing something wrong, i.e. me doing something wrong. So she did an Excel spreadsheet where all I have to do is enter in like the beginning and ending time, and it automatically calculates how many hours and minutes. I was like, oh my God, that's so awesome. So she was showing me how to input numbers in that. And today will be the first day that I'll be using it because we have the arbitration today and tomorrow. So yeah. And so that was a 2-hour Zoom meeting. So at the end of the Zoom meeting, it was like, I forgot all about groceries. Normally with Instacart, like they will message you as stuff is out and say, do you approve the refund? And if you don't respond, it's automatically done. And I hear the ring thing go off like someone's at the door, and I'm like, who's at the door? I thought it was Bill coming home from fishing. No, it's our groceries delivered. And I went, crap. I totally forgot about the groceries. So I went out there, put all those away. And by that time, it was like 1:30-ish. And I sat down at my computer because I was like, okay, do I stitch? Do I diamond paint? What am I going to do? And I said, you know what? I'm going to walk down and see Bill at the end of the street. He didn't know I was coming. I figured it'd be a nice little surprise. So I locked up the house, even though he would go down there and leave the house unlocked. No, I'm not like that. So I closed his shed, locked the house, brought my keys, walked down there. And a lot of people in our neighborhood decorated for Halloween. And there is this one house that like builds like this big maze. And I'm like, all that work for one night? No, I don't think so. So I walked down there and he was very surprised to see me and he was very happy to see me. He likes to share the fishing with me, at least at the end of the street. And so he's like, you should have brought a chair with you. And I'm like, damn it, I should have brought a camping chair. And I didn't even think of that. So he had a backpack, so I just sat on the ground on the backpack because if I would have sat on the ground was wet from all the rain we had received the day before. So he said, I've been killing it with catching fish. He has caught so many fish. And he said there were these two little kids that were here and they saw me reel in a fish and they were like, wow, that's a really big fish. And so he caught one. He's like, do you want to reel it in? And I was like, He's like, oh, come on. So I did. Oh my God, I like hurt my back. Like, it is no joke reeling in a fish. Seriously. So I was like, that's the last one I'm reeling in. So we sat down there for, I want to say about an hour or so. It was about 3:30 when we came back. And we just sat, watched some TV, and I said, is she coming over to give out candy? You know, are you sitting outside? Are you sitting in here? He's like, well, if you're going to sit out there with me, I'll sit outside. But if not, I'm sitting inside. And I'm like, I'm not going to make you sit outside by yourself. I'm not going to do that. So right before he cooked we had bought these frozen like mini chicken tacos from Costco. So we were planning to have that for dinner. So he cooked some of those. We ate those. They were so good. Chicken and cheese. Oh my God. And then we got the candy ready. So we put out 2 camping chairs. We have this pumpkin that like makes noise and lights up. And so at the end of the driveway, we had 2 camping chairs. We each had a blanket because it was very windy and chilly outside. And then I have like a little camping table that I brought out and we put the candy between us. And Bill gave out the candy. I was just out there to sit out there, keep him company. There were a couple groups of people that Bill was like, I think they're a little old for trick-or-treating. And I know that's an unpopular opinion too, because people are like, well, at least they're not into trouble. You know, I saw one post on Instagram where people were like, stop your bitching. Like, these people have had a hard year. Let them have candy. My personal opinion, and like I said, it may be another unpopular opinion, I feel like Halloween is for smaller kids. I remember being a kid and being very excited. You know, the last year I went trick-or-treating was 8th grade, middle school. I didn't go at all when I was in high school. And there were some kids that I was just, there was like 2 or 3 kids that kept standing there like wanting more candy. And Bill finally had to say, we gave you your candy. And the parents were like, come on. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? And then there was one kid that was like, oh, I don't like this. Can I have an airhead and can I have and so Bill gave it to him and I was like, I never remember going to a house and saying, no, I don't like this. Can I have this? Now, there was one child and I did not even give this a thought. They came up and it was a little girl and she was like, I have a peanut allergy. And I said, well, thank you so much for letting us know that because we had Snickers in there. So we gave her something that, you know, didn't have nuts in it. And when she left, I said to Bill, I'm like, I didn't even think of that. But I was very glad. There was only one person that said that. So one little girl was like, oh, my mom will figure it out. Because I'm sure that parents of kids who have allergies like that, they've got to inspect their candy when they come home and make sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't even think about that. So we sat outside from 5 p.m. to a little after 7. And there was like a lull in the people. And Bill's like, let's make a run for it. So we came in, we turned out all the lights in our house, and we went and got in our hot tub. And then when we came in, we watched TV in his bedroom because his room is in the back of the house. So it was weird not having lights on in the house because we usually keep on a light downstairs and our range light in our kitchen. And it was like pitch fucking black in there. But we watched a little bit of TV, and I was really tired once we came in from the hot tub and all that. So when I went downstairs like 8:15, and I was sleeping by 9. I tried to watch the newest episode of I Know What You Did Last Summer on Amazon Prime, and I started falling asleep. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to go to bed. And I didn't get up till 7:30 this morning. So yeah. But yeah, that was our weekend. So what I am drinking, like I said, Javalia, and I think that's the name of the company. They make like a cappuccino mix that you can put in your Keurig. Like it's a K-cup of coffee, but it comes with this frothy milk pack. And it's 90 calories. And I was like, I'm going to try it. It does make it frothy. It is frothy. You put the pack in first and then brew the coffee over it. It's actually pretty tasty. I like it. I think I'll continue to get it. And I also, with the grocery order, I had decaf K-cups. Because at night, especially with it getting much colder outside, at night, sometimes I like to have a cup of coffee. And if I drink a regular cup of coffee like 8:30, I won't be fucking going to sleep. So I had Pete's decaf. I drank a cup of coffee when we were sitting outside, and it was very good. So, yes, very glad to have decaf K-cups on hand. Okay, I think that's enough jibby-jabbing. 26 minutes. Jesus, this is going to be... Whew, I talked and talked, didn't I? Okay, so today's story is Phantom of the Opera Killer. So the Metropolitan Opera, the Met, was founded in 1883 on Broadway and moved to the Lincoln Center site in 1966. By then, it had become the largest classical music organization in North America. To play in the orchestra, there was to have reached the pinnacle. To play in the orchestra there was to have reached the pinnacle of one's career. On July 23, 1980, the Berlin Ballet was being hosted by the Met with guest dancers Galina Panov, Valerie Panov, and Rudolf Nureyev. I don't know if I said any of those names correctly. The auditorium was sold out, and the music filled the building. For violinist Thomas Suarez, it was a dream come true. Oh, by the way, little side note. My frame for Cherry Blossom shipped, so I should have that like this week. And if we have off, like we only have the arbitration today and tomorrow. If we have off any time the rest of the week, I will do a framing video and show again how I'm going to frame Cherry Blossom. Okay. During the first piece of music, the Firebird, he was sitting behind 31-year-old violinist Helen Hagnes, a friend and regular with the orchestra. When they broke for an interval, Suarez headed to the canteen and chatted with other musicians about the opening acts over a cup of hot coffee. When the orchestra returned to the pit to play Don Quixote, Suarez noticed that Helen had not returned from the interval. It was not uncommon for one of the orchestra to be late back to the pit, but everyone normally returned before the curtains rose. However, as the seconds passed, Suarez and other members of the orchestra were becoming concerned. The lights dimmed and the curtains lifted, but there was no sign of Helen. Assuming she had become ill, Suarez put Helen's violin in her case and placed it on the floor. When the ballet ended for the night, Helen was nowhere to be seen, and her violin remained beside her seat. Suarez returned home to his apartment on the same street where Helen lived, but she had not returned home. You would be concerned at this point, right? The following morning, reports were coming in of a body discovered in the Metropolitan Opera. It appeared that Helen never left the opera house. She had been stripped, gagged, and thrown from the roof into a 6-story air shaft. Good night. What? That poor woman. So, Helen's background. Helen was raised on a chicken farm in Aldergrove, British Columbia, with 3 sisters. Her Swedish parents emigrated from Finland in the mid-1950s to give their children a better education. Between the ages of 8 to 19, Helen was supported by her parents to play the violin. Despite living off meager funds themselves, they poured all they could into providing a better life for her and the music. And so it was that Helen grew up with a dream to be part of one of the greatest musical organizations in America, the Met Opera Orchestra. Along the way, she became first violinist for the Seattle Symphony Orchestra and later got a scholarship at the famous Juilliard School for Performing Arts in New York City. Before she landed the big seat at the Met, she married a sculptor named Janis Mintix, the love of her life. While training to master the violin, Helen studied in Italy and Switzerland and performed on cruise ships between America and Europe. It was on the ships where she met her best friend, pianist Judith Olson. Together, they played music on the high seas and dreamt of playing for the big-time orchestras. On one voyage, as they approached Egypt, Helen told Judith of her beliefs in reincarnation. She believed Egypt to be her ancient home, and she felt at peace in the country. She made her husband promise to bring her ashes to Egypt if anything were to happen to her, except her husband never truly believed that Helen would die before him. How awful. On the night of the Berlin Ballet, Helen had left the violin on the seat to get a drink at the interval. The Met was known to have been a fortress with some of the highest levels of security of any public building in New York, so if anything was to happen, it would have come from the inside. In a backstage elevator, Helen was headed to the auditorium when a man followed her in and closed the door. He was 21-year-old Craig Crimmins, a stagehand with an unsavory appetite for pretty women from the orchestra. Born in the Bronx, Crimmins was raised an Irish Catholic and grew up with boyish looks and an immature outlook. Crimmins was stoned and drunk and smelled of booze. It was a relief when the doors opened so that Helen could escape the smell of the elevator. As she stepped out, Crimmins grabbed her shoulder and asked her for sexual services. "Are you kidding?" Enraged by his actions, Helen slapped him. Oh my God. Crimmins walked after her and asked her for sex again, but Helen pushed him away. Suddenly, Crimmins lost control and hit her in the back of the head, continuing to beat her as she fell to the ground. Realizing no one was around, he dragged her to a stairwell and started ripping off her clothes with the intention of raping her. When he failed to perform the act, so he couldn't get it up. When he failed to perform the act, he tied Helen up and marched her to the roof of the building and attempted to rape her again. When that failed, he stood her up and kicked her down the Met's air shaft, an open ventilation courtyard on the side of the building. Good God! Wow, that poor woman. Helen's body was discovered the morning after the murder and stirred up public imagination, with many news outlets running with the Phantom of the Opera murder. Every single person in the building on the night of the murder was questioned. This included Crimmins, who, of course, lied about his whereabouts. To the investigation, this meant that of the hundreds of people at the ballet that night, no one had seen Helen at the interval. The Phantom story grew stronger with each passing day. Helen's friends and previous boyfriends were questioned, but the security continued to claim the Met was impenetrable during showtimes. A month passed until police decided to question everyone again, and this time Crimmins broke down and confessed to the attempted rape and murder. 1 year later, Crimmins was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison and went down with the moniker of the Phantom of the Opera. Despite the murder, the orchestra had to reconvene on the night of the discovery and play to a packed audience. For Thomas Suarez, the murder was at the forefront of his mind when he played with the orchestra for Valerie Pennov's ballet, The Idiot. The ballet's first terrifying notes, taken from Shostakovich, I think that's right, taken from Shostakovich's symphonies, sent a chill through the numbed orchestra. In the third act of the ballet, after the interval, the heroine, Natasha Filipovna, is found murdered, and it was as if art had imitated real life. For Janis, the loss of his wife was too much to bear, but he had made a promise to take her ashes to Egypt to connect with her ancient home. Unsure how to do it and realizing he needed more funds and knowledge, Janice wrote a letter to the Egyptian president, Anwar Sadat. Happily, Sadat replied, and Egypt arranged flights for Janice and Helen's ashes. Janice himself, but with Helen's ashes. The way that was worded meant it sounded like both of their ashes. Helen's wish was fulfilled, and she finally found peace in the country of her dreams. But how awful, like she should not have even died. Seriously. Okay, I have started reading a new book, which I absolutely love. Now, I was going to really try to I was going to try to save money and only get books that were on Kindle Unlimited because I already have a subscription to that, right? So I went on there and looked and read some samples, but this one book caught my eye. And it is, wait a minute, let me take a peek. It is Alice Feeney's new book called Rock, Paper, Scissors. And I am already about 60 pages in. The book was just released in September of this year. Okay, so here is the premise. Things have been wrong with Mr. and Mrs. Wright for a long time. When Adam and Amelia win a weekend away to Scotland, it might be just what their marriage needs. Self-confessed workaholic and screenwriter Adam Wright has lived with face blindness his whole life, where he doesn't recognize people, even his wife. He can't recognize friends or family or even his own wife. Every anniversary, the couple exchange traditional gifts, paper, cotton, pottery, tin, and each year, Adam's wife writes him a letter that she never lets him read, until now. They both know this weekend will make or break their marriage, but they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live happily ever after. 10 years of marriage, 10 years of secrets, and an anniversary they will never forget. So the book, the way the book is laid out is in her perspective, his perspective, and then her letters are in the middle of it. It is so good because each of them are lying to each other. Like each of them have like an ulterior motive with this trip. And I'm like, what's going to happen? Because I read a couple reviews on Goodreads that didn't spoil anything, but people were like, at the end, there are so many twists and turns. I was like, let's go, because I love books like that. So I recommend it. And, you know, I need to click on here to follow her so I get a notification from Amazon when she releases a new book. The book is so good so far. And boy, the stuff that she has written in her letters that she has done over the years that he has no clue. Oh my God. So I'm guessing, I haven't gotten to the part where she lets him read these letters. She must have brought them with her. He's going to flip out. Yeah. Okay. So, and finally, we are going to read. Now, the Daily Stoic sent me an email on Saturday and it reviews the week before. So there is just a small passage that I want to read to you. So this is from a podcast that is called You Own Nothing. None of us own anything. Everything is constantly in flux. What we have today may be gone tomorrow. We ourselves may be gone tomorrow. Understand that. Appreciate everything accordingly. Be grateful and humble, or life will rebuke you. Fate will remind you who is in charge, and nature will reclaim what is hers. It's almost like, you know, God laughs when we make plans because, yeah, I mean, you can make plans, but you better be flexible because half the time they don't come to fruition, right? And then here is a quote also from Marcus Aurelius that says, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Very, very true. I love the Daily Stoic emails. Okay. I am going to end this here, guys. I hope you all have a fantastic Monday. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.